Well, good morning. I thought just for fun today, I would make some explosive suggestions about what might happen on Tuesday. Not only might happen, but could happen. I mean, this is not something that is unlikely, although it may not be the case. But if it's true, if most of what I say or all of what I say actually comes true on Tuesday, the stock probably would, yeah, go crazy. So, I mean, up, crazy up. Well, I'm always loving a little speculation, and I'm an optimist. So take all of that into consideration. Do not use any of what I'm going to say as investment advice. Do your own homework. Compare what I'm saying with other news out there, other things that people are saying. Maybe you think that this is the craziest thing you've ever heard from this channel, or maybe you're like, "Whoa, Randy, this could be true." Oh, anyway, let's take it apart a little bit at a time here and see what you think. There is a lot of evidence building suggesting that the earnings call on Tuesday could be a game changer. Keep in mind that Elon has already said that 2026 would be epic and 2027 would be ridiculous. If I understand Elon's way of thinking about Tesla, and I think I'm as good a judge of that as anybody out there right now after 5 years, 6 years now of studying him almost full time. Well, there's only a handful of ways that we can get to the results he's talking about in terms of epic or ridiculous. We've covered these before, but the question is, when do the announcements get made? When do we have more confirmation? When do we get something that's so that you can hold on to in such a way that it would move the stock significantly? Well, let's start with the clear winner. So number one, Optimus would have to scale in a way that he has proposed that it will scale. Well, that means a legion, 5,000 this year. That was the term that Elon used, was a legion. Now, I said it could be 5,000 to 10,000 this year. These would all be, of course, according to him, used in Tesla's facilities. I'm going to speculate, and he may not ever say this out loud, or maybe not until much later, but that some of those 5,000 or 10,000 will end up in partner facilities, kind of like the Tesla Semi did with regard to Pepsi and others. I think some of these early bots are going to maybe even go to Pepsi or go to some of the same characters or go to new ones, in particular fast food and some other situations where there's a huge, huge opportunity. But most of them, the greatest number of them, will end up in Tesla facilities, and I believe in cases these will be potentially talked about on Tuesday. In other words, it may be that he says they've already officially announced that the first article has been produced off the line. Okay, off this. I'm going to guess it would be not the final line, but the kind of interim, pre-production line that would make these 5 or 10,000 this year. And they could be making, dozens or hundreds a week at this point. So they may announce that they've made hundreds or, dozens or dozens of dozens. And they may announce that these bots are already off and doing useful work in the factories. It would really be fun if they said that they're doing 3 shifts or 4 shifts each, or giving it a little color, maybe some video of Optimus in a couple of situations doing useful work. Now, if they did that, it wouldn't give away too much in terms of the technical aspects that they kind of are worried about right now giving away. It would give away their progress. It would give away how far along they are. But that would be certainly useful to us as investors and could by itself cause the stock to pop, depending on just how much color they do give us. And of course, they have announced that they're not calling it the regular call, they're calling it a company update or something of that nature. Anyway, so we'll see. How much do they give us on Optimus? Do they give us some real meat that we can get our teeth into? All right. Number two, well, the key thing, the big deal, and everything that everybody's talking about is going to be Robotaxi. We need to have a confirmation that it will debut in June, as planned, in Austin, and then expand to 3 or more cities in 2025. And then needs to confirm, needs to say it again, that he believes it'll be worldwide fleet. Be nice if he would say of 1 million or more cars in 2026, made up of a combination of Tesla-owned fleets, cybercabs, also fleets owned by others, and then 1 million or more individual Airbnb type vehicles that are, one or more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something that you or I might do. Now, we need all of those. In other words, if we're going to have this crazy day on Wednesday, or even in the after hours on Tuesday, it's going to have to be that entire package. In other words, it won't be enough to say everything's good for Austin in June. That'll help. That'll be a positive. It'll certainly help the stock. But if he goes on and says, we are still seeing this complete layout, first Austin, 3 or 4 more cities in the United States, the balance of this year, rolling out worldwide in 2026, Airbnb type with consumers also, unleashing by that time 9 million by the middle of next year, which is what he talked about. That would be 9 million potential robotaxis that would already be out there ready to go. If we can kind of get that kind of an enthusiastic rah rah, here we go. This is the way that we're going to launch this product. I think then this could be another piece of this explosion that I'm talking about, this craziness that could happen on Tuesday and Wednesday, and for the days following. Number 3 would be the autonomous semi-truck. The autonomous semi-truck will debut with about 40,000 produced in 2026. I believe that this is the most underappreciated product in the Tesla lineup. This is like, 40,000 of these in terms of their value would be the equivalent of about 200,000, maybe even 300,000 with regard to a comparable Model 3 or new, what do you call it, less expensive vehicle, a more affordable vehicle. So you'd be talking about some multiple between 4 and 6 in terms of the sell price, in terms of the profit, and certainly in terms of the profit from the FSD or the TSD, I guess as we're going to call it now, the Tesla full self-driving is going to be Tesla self-driving. So autonomous semi-truck, this is coming. This is a done deal. The factory is almost finished. I'm sure they will be making some kind of runs coming here in the 3rd quarter, 4th quarter. We'll be seeing a few of them come out of the new factory. And by next year, we'll be on a run rate. Apparently, this is the idea, is to have a run rate of 40,000 vehicles. And 40,000 vehicles, again, this would be probably as much or more dollar volume and profit as this new unaffordable vehicle will do. And nobody's talking about it. All right. The 4th thing on my list would be that the 4th megafactory will be announced in India. He's going to India later this year. And when he goes to India later this year, they will announce the 4th megafactory. There's every evidence that that's already happening in terms of people that are being currently hired for India. And I think there's no question that this will be the 4th megafactory. Now, they may announce a 5th megafactory. But again, we need to take into consideration, as this is not as sexy as vehicles, that every megafactory is also equivalent of about 300,000 Model 3s in terms of profit, and maybe more than that, because we don't really know how much profit is going to derive from each of these megafactories downstream. They may be able to go beyond the 10,000 units, the 40 gigawatt hours that currently are supposed to be made in each factory. Each of those factories may be able to be expanded or just increased in terms of the throughput. Again, 300,000 vehicles each. Okay, so this is very, very important. So I would love to have him announce at this meeting that a 4th megafactory is going to be announced later this year or something like that. That would help things on Tuesday and Wednesday on the stock as well. All right, number 5, within 12 months, every vehicle will have the potential to be a Tesla self-driving car with no supervision. And I think this will be sooner than later, and I would love to have that announcement. Now, people are completely poo-pooing any idea that Elon will give us a date on that. But if they're going to be turning these things loose in the wild on, in June to be hauling around private, passengers, not even owners, but passengers getting into these vehicles with no steering wheel, and in some cases no steering wheel. Probably some robotaxis or Cybertruck cabs will be out there, but just even the regular vehicles. There's no way in the world that I don't believe that means they could also allow us to become unsupervised in our vehicles. I can make a strong argument that they would do it prior to June, as I have made this argument in the last week, and maybe that will be announced. And maybe they will announce the version 14 or version 13.10 or whatever that will be coming out next week, or maybe it will, that announcement might be part of Tuesday. And that this one will be unsupervised, and that it will roll out very slowly, maybe to the regular employees first, and then to the early adopters second, etc. And it might be a very slow rollout, but maybe by June or July we get unsupervised nationwide, or maybe it'll be next year. I don't know, but this, if he says this is now the schedule for unsupervised, that would definitely impact the stock on Tuesday, Wednesday, and beyond. Number 6, this is one that Brian Wong has been talking about. We talked about it last night. I'll put a card up for that. Brian is really making me a believer now that the data center in Austin, combined with the FSD chip, will become far and away the most advanced combined tool for embodied AI. It will be in demand, not just as a potential licensing agreement for other automobiles, but it will be either a license or a sale of the chip, or some kind of combination. It will be in demand for auto, truck, other robots, other vehicles, tractors, and construction vehicles, and anything that moves is possible that they will want this chip and will want to be getting the information into Dojo in order to be properly set up, or into Colossus, into the data center in South Texas. This could actually make the Colossus, that portion of the business, bigger than NVIDIA, because the potential for embodied AI, from everybody that I talk to, from everybody that has anything to say about this, the financial potential for embodied AI is bigger than the financial potential for the part of AI that'll go in your computer. On Tuesday, Elon will be 100% on his game. I believe he'll just be excited, enthusiastic. I mean, he's having so much fun. So he'll be in a good mood, and he'll be positive. And then he'll lay out some or all of his vision for the future. Some of the stuff that we just talked about. If he does it this way, then the market won't care. They just won't care. If he's enthusiastic and does all the things that I just said above, or most of the things that I just said above, they're not going to even care about the Model Q. Well, okay, they will care for some reason, even though the data center's a much bigger deal as I just explained, even though the semi is a bigger deal, even though energy is a way bigger deal than the Model Q. For some reason, it's because it's a car. They're all going to be all concerned about the Model Q. Well, okay, but the Model Q is going to be it's going to be announced. There's going to be an announcement. He's going to be asked. He might say, "I can't tell you," but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think he's going to tell us. Maybe he's not going to give any detail, but I believe that he will reconfirm that the Model Q is a new form factor, not a trim. And maybe he'll give us a little color, a little hint. Maybe he'll give us the release date. Maybe he'll give us something like that. Now, if that release date is in Q2, as promised, or Q3, because it's running just a little bit late, the stock will not be negatively impacted, maybe positively impacted. Maybe that's one more reason for it to go up. But if it's delayed to 2026, that might be looking a little negative. I'm thinking it'll be sooner, not later. And I do not know how they've been able to hide it. I'm sorry. I mean, they've got all these parking structures and stuff. They may be driving them around, but nope, can't help you on that. Don't know how that's happened. All right, so what you've just heard is the optimistic Randy. This is the optimistic Randy view of the conference call on Tuesday. It is hard to speculate as to what the stock would do if most or all of this is confirmed by the most successful entrepreneur of our age. Because at this point, he's really just putting final touches on things that are done. I mean, every one of these products is done. FSD is done. Believe me, they are driving a vehicle right now. They are driving multiple vehicles, maybe even hundreds, maybe even thousands of vehicles right now that have FSD unsupervised in them at this point, and they're testing it maybe with drivers, some without drivers. As we know, they're driving out of the factory without a driver. So some are being driven with drivers, some without drivers. They know that they have the final product. That's why you've seen so much posting about it on X over the last week. I see the energy. I see it building. I don't know about you, but it's building. It's building. They are ready to go. That's my opinion. Of course, other subject of interest will also be asked at the meeting on Tuesday. They're going to ask about whether Elon will be back in Austin in June. And in my opinion, the answer is yes. He will be back in Austin full-time, or as full-time as he ever is, in June. Now, my hope, I don't know if he'll announce this on Tuesday. I probably won't. But I'm hoping that eventually he's going to announce that he'll take a couple of months to transition away from DC and be mostly in Austin. He might be flying off to India or Italy or who knows where. And then he will begin a major effort. This is what I believe and hope. This is what I believe he's going to do, because I don't think he's going to want to leave this whole political thing go. And I think he's going to know how important what I'm going to say is. I think he's going to then start setting up a major effort to help MAGA, M-A-G-A, help make America great again by making sure that the Republicans win in the midterms and that they bring Republicans into DC that are MAGA, that are going to be solid in terms of helping the list of things that Trump has wanted to do and is doing. He's also going to be asked about unit sales in 2025 because that's what these analysts do. They care about the numbers, and we still care about the numbers, whether we like it or not. We still talk about them all the time. It's really a minor issue compared to the stuff that I just talked about, but it's still the core business today. And I say that he's probably going to stick with his 20 to 30% increase in 2025. He will probably repeat his epic and ridiculous statements about 26 and 27. And I think that, again, if he holds on to his 20 to 30% increase, if he repeats that, that's going to be helpful for the stock as well. If he says, well, I'm not quite as sure, maybe 10 to 20%, that won't hurt the stock. That'll still be considered a positive compared to where the street is right now. Now, in that the component that powers every aspect of the business that I just laid out, see, I've left this till last. Everything that happens out there, whether it's Optimus, Cybercab, Robotaxis, cars, battery, mega packs, power walls, everything has one thing in common, and that's the batteries. And so are going to get, I'm hoping, a major update. I hope they spend 15 minutes on it. Maybe it'll only be 10, but they can't spend 3. But I hope they spend some time on it. A major update on battery progress and any remaining constraints. You know, we have the new 4680 factory in Panasonic in Japan. We've got the new Panasonic factory, I think it's in Kansas, that was supposed to start working in August. We've got, I think, an LG factory in Georgia, which we might now have access to some of their capacity. We've got the 40 megawatt hour line that was, or 40 gigawatt hour line that was supposed to be the CATL line in Reno that should be up and running. But way more important than all that, super more important than all that, I really think the street and most retail investors have lost sight of the 4680 as another huge driver of the future of Tesla. There's a hint. There was a video this week, Sandy Monroe's team did, where the 4680 is now solved, the dry cathode, dry anode, all of it's solved. It's now ramping, and that the goals are being met for cost. We've already seen that a couple of months ago. So the icing on the cake for Tuesday would be that a detailed announcement regarding the ramp of 4680 to 200 gigawatt hours in Austin, 500 in Reno, 100 in Berlin, and 100 or more in Shanghai. These are the numbers that were originally given to us. These are the goals from several years ago. And maybe we're finally going to see these goals starting to be realized again as a finished product. Finished Optimus coming off the line. Finished Robotaxi coming off the line. Finished FSD. Finished cybercabs. I mean, we've already seen them. It's just a matter of making them. Finished semi-trucks. They're done. The factory's being built. It's done. Go down the line. If 4680 is also finished, wow. So that would be one last thing I'd like to see added. One additional element that would be wonderful to see. All right. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Are we going to see all this on Tuesday? Are we going to see most of this on Tuesday? What's completely crazy that I said up there, or what is just a little crazy, or what is, Randy, every one of those things could happen. I mean, if you think that, just say, Randy, I think every one of those things could happen, but probably not, or maybe, anyway, however you feel about it. Let me know how you feel about it. I'd love to see the comments on this one. Like and subscribe and notify, all that jazz. If you appreciate the hard work that I do for the channel and you'd like to give me a little tip, no, I don't want to know who's going to win the 5th race at Hollywood. I want to know, I want you to just hit me with $3 a month or $5 a month on Patreon. That would be fantastic. Liking, subscribing, and watching the videos is also just amazing. And then, as I mentioned, I'm going to put the card up for Brian Wong's video from yesterday because he breaks that news. He really does break the news. Even though kind of in the back of our mind, we know it. But Brian, he's the scientist and he can dig in and he gets these things. And he's saying, yeah, the Colossus combined with the chip, the FSD chip, are going to be something that is going to be another massive, create another massive capital valuation to Tesla. All right, I think that's all I've got. Well, let's see. Let me give you a little analysis of the rest of the weekend. There may have only been 2 shows today, this one and one earlier this morning. There may only be 2 tomorrow, but I'm going to try. I think there'll be 3 tomorrow. In particular, I want to recommend you watch my show tomorrow morning, first thing. It'll be a unique show, not exactly in the norm. Hope you'll take a look at that. All right, it's been great talking to you.